Hi guys, this is a Load Trail DT14 7x14 14,000 pound GVW trailer. Today we're going to take a walk around the trailer and show you all the standard features. There are a few options on this particular unit. I'll point them out as we go around. So again, this unit is a 7x14, 14,000 pound GVW. It's going to weigh in a little over 4,000 pounds empty. It's going to leave a net legal payload of about 10,000 pounds plus your tongue weight. Tongue weight, you're going to pick up another roughly 2,000. So give or take, you're going to be hair under 12,000 pound on the payload side. So up front, they do a 6-hole adjustable coupler. Notice it is a cast coupler. On this one, it's got the upgraded 12K jack. It is a front mount jack. It's far enough back, it'll be out of the way for a flatbed type truck style, but it's far enough forward that it's easy to reach to. If you've never had a 12K jack, you'd simply pull that lever, it'll spring down to the ground, and then you've certainly got additional adjustment via the handle. If you've never had one of these style jacks, they've got zerks on them for serviceability. Blue harness there is a cold weather harness. It's not standard equipment on all Load Trails. We put it on this one here. Nice cold day like today. It still stays very flexible. You can tie it in a knot even on a cold day. Now the plug on this is a 7-pin RV blade style, similar to what's on pretty much all current pickup trucks. It does have a paddle lock handle. Keys are on the back side of the latch assembly. It's got a 20-foot all-weather remote cord, power up and power down. One 10-volt charger built in, plugs into house current. It's got the guts inside, and then it's got your cover outside with the plug for the 110. It's got the 232 warranty with the 800 number for service. They cover the whole trailer 2 years, structure 3 years, and then a 2-year roadside assist. Also on the back side of the toolbox lid, you'll notice the greaser. Inside the toolbox, you got an interstate deep cycle battery, KTI pump, power up, power down. KTI is an American-made pump, you see from the sticker there. It's also got a gas shock in the toolbox lid. Sounds like a little detail, but a lot of manufacturers don't put a put a gas shock. And then the toolbox opens up farther than it should be, and we've seen people smash boxes with that style. So this is an 8-inch I-beam main frame. It's a unibody frame, meaning the frame goes all the way front to back. It's got gusset plates top, bottom, and middle on the main frame. It's got a support rod for the bed if you wanted to work on the hydraulics. Notice it's a sealed wire harness. It's what we'd call a modular harness. From there forward would be 1. From there to the back corner would be 2. And then you've got a third harness for around the back that would plug in all your lights. This being a scissor hoist, you got a couple different setups. You got bulkheads distributing weight out to the frame, and then you've got a double bulkhead with reinforcement gusset on the scissor. This is a 5/16 scissor. The most common scissor you generally see on a 14,000 pound dump trailer. We've got a separate video testing this scissor on a Load Trail, and it'll lift, give or take, you about 2 tons, a ton to 2 more than what the trailer's rated for, so you have no problem lifting the legal payload capacity. I say a ton to 2 because it does depend, as the video will demonstrate, where the weight is placed. If you're tongue heavy, certainly be more like the 1, and standard configuration, again, we've shown it'll lift in excess of 2 ton more than what the trailer's rated for. Standard equipment on this would be a Dexter axle. It's got the new Never Adjust style brakes. It's a 7,000 pound axle. It's got the Easy Lube hub, so behind that cap there will be a greaser. You can service your own bearings. Load Trail's got the black mod wheels on this. That is their standard wheel color. It's got Gladiator tires. If you're not familiar, most tires are made in China. Gladiators we do find to be one of the better tires. They also have US distribution, so if you do prefer to replace these with Gladiators down the road, you should be able to find them. Also for service and warranty, it makes it a little easier because, again, Gladiator is distributed in the US. Trailer's got a slipper spring suspension. That'd be the rocker in the middle. If you've never seen a slipper spring, it's a little more durable than an eye-to-eye. Eye-to-eye suspensions, which you typically find on a lighter duty or generally a 10,000 pound GVW on down. It's got the double broke fenders. It's got the gusseting front and back. We like how they integrate the lights into the gusset. Makes it nice setup. Let me put the bed down and we'll show you more of the body of the trailer. You also notice that the ramps are undermount. One thing I've always liked about Load Trail, they put a nice heavy tread on the ramp. Instead of a 1.5 by 1.5, that's a 2.5 by 2.5 tread. Also notice the cross-member spacing on these is 16" on center. And that's a 3" structural channel. That's not a formed channel underneath. So again, this being a power up, power down setup, be powered both ways. Got grease zerks on the scissor hoist on either side. I think there's a total of about 6 on this particular unit. Ramps on these are measuring about 78 to 80 inches. Certainly give you a nice load angle when you're loading a piece of equipment. This trailer's got 2-foot sides. You'll notice they do the integrated keyway on all 4 sides. There you see the front. Some manufacturers do this keyway that you see there. Most don't do it on all 4 sides though. Most would just do it on the long sills. So you'll notice that keyway they wrap all the way around, and they also take the time to miter the corner. Now another important detail you'll notice, that keyway is integrated into the sidewall, not welded on. That's important. Acid rain and salt and whatnot won't get behind there and rust it out. We've seen a few that welded on, and it just doesn't seem to be as nice as forming it in. It's a little more work this way, but makes a nicer job. Load Trail on this has a max step. That's not a standard, but it's on most of the ones that we do. So it's simply got good traction, gives you the ability to step up into the bed. Going down the side, you'll see the J-hooks for strapping a bungee cord onto a tarp kit. Sides on this are 2 foot. Some in the industry are going to do a little lower 20" side. 24 used to be industry standard, and for the most part I would say still is. So this is your standard 24" sidewall. As mentioned, this is a Dexter brand axle with the Never Adjust and the Gladiator tires. It's also Sherwin-Williams powder coated. Now one thing with Load Trail, about 2 years ago they started doing a powder coat primer or a zinc primer. Certainly gives them a nice powder coat job. They also do one of the thicker powder coats we've seen of the different manufacturers we've carried. Generally their millage on these tends to be about 5 mils versus more of an industry standard around 3. So they put a thick powder coat on with a powder primer. Now one thing Load Trail does that's kind of unique, top of the wall to the center of the floor, that's all made out of one piece of 10 gauge, and that's important for a few reasons. 10 gauge is pretty well the industry standard for the floor, but a lot of times sidewalls you're going to get a little lighter. Sometimes you'll see 11, 12, I've even seen 14 gauge. This is 10 on the side and the floor. Now the other important thing is you've got one center seam. Generally, if you've seen an older dump trailer, and with all the trade-ins we've taken over the years, we've seen our share, generally you'll notice one common tread, and that would be they get ate up from the sidewall up because water and debris and whatnot tends to lay in those corners. So having a center seam to us is a kind of a smart way of doing it. You've got one seam. Also notice the seam is ran parallel to the trailer, which generally helps keep the floor straighter. Generally on a perpendicular seamed floor, you tend to, in my experience, see more waviness to the floor over time as it would get used. This trailer does have a tarp kit. That is standard equipment. And then the sail bar is a neat touch. So basically you take that sail bar, walk it back to the back, and they've got a set of brackets that it'll clamp into. Just makes it a lot easier to use. Okay, this is a 3-way gate, so you can unhook at the top, put it down like a pickup truck style and lay it, set your gauge where you want it to go. You also have the spreader style. You can set the gauge there and open it up at the bottom and let it spread. Or certainly the most common would be the barn door. So you would unhook the cam bar lock and spread it around to the side, or pull it around the side. It's got an extra set of lights at the back. Your 3 in the middle would be your markers, and then you've got your stop, turn, tails. They also put an extra set of markers on each side. Undermount ramps. Again, they do a little bit heavier set of ramps than what we've seen in the industry. Also note that they are skid steer jack ready, so these are prepped for skid steer jacks. If you want jack stands at the back, simply a matter of putting them in and purchasing them. They are not standard, but the prep is standard. A couple other little details on this. They take the keyway and bring all the way back to the gate as well. So again, that is on all 4 sides of this particular unit. They also put caps on the top of the gate if you ever want to build the sides up. It makes it easy to do that. They also offer side extensions, which we generally keep in stock. Hinges on the door with grease zerks for serviceability. Also notice they've got pockets for extensions going down the sides. This trailer is offered in 12 and 16 foot configuration. It's also offered in gooseneck, which we keep in stock. Again, payloads on all the 7K axle units, give or take, is going to fall about 11,000 to 12,000 pounds with tongue weight. It's also offered in a triple axle and an 8,000 pound axle upgrade for those wanting more hoist or additional payload capacity. If you have any questions on this or any of our other trailers, feel free to give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.